AITA for telling my husband that my stepdaughter can't return home until she pays my daughter back, plus all updates. I 30F have a 14-year-old daughter Leah. Married my husband Mark 46M 6 years ago. He has 2 children from a previous marriage, Koi 16M and Coral 14F. Me and Mark have the kids full-time, but his kids live with their mom for a few weeks during the summer. They moved into my lake house, which has 5 bedrooms. 2 of the bedrooms upstairs have bathrooms. My daughter had one of those rooms. But as the girls began high school, Coral began complaining about not having a bathroom and said it's unfair. Mark and Koi told her to stop complaining. Lei said it was fine and asked us if she could turn the basement into her room. I didn't like that idea, but she begged, so I agreed. Turns out my daughter wanted a room makeover, so this worked out. We give the kids allowance and allowed them to get a work permit. Koi worked at an arcade and told the girls he could get them jobs. Coral refused to work, but Leah agreed. After 5 months of saving her allowance, she able to buy everything she needed to decorate. Coral never bothered to go down there because she believed it was full of spiders, but Koi was down there every day helping her. After a week, she completely transformed the basement. She invited everyone down, and it was stunning. I didn't even know that computer towers could be clear. She looked so proud. Coral then screamed that it wasn't fair and that she wanted the basement now. Everyone began yelling at her, but she began crying, and before we know it, she ran over to the computer and threw the tower on the ground. The glass shattered and one of the monitors fell to the floor, also breaking. My daughter cried. I explained to Mark that Coral has to pay for this. He said her emotions are just high and that will get situated when everything calms down. I ran to Coral and yelled saying that she's on punishment. Mark didn't agree, but I didn't care. Coral was unnecessarily crying and ran to her mother's car. Koi was trying to help my daughter, and Mark tried to hand her $300, but Koi explained that Coral caused about $1,000 worth of damages. He said luckily the expensive pieces in the case were saved, but the case itself was about $450 and the monitor was $200. Mark explained that he doesn't have that kind of money. So I said she can't come back until my daughter's stuff is repaired with a sincere apology. Koi agreed and Mark was upset, saying he couldn't do that to his daughter. I told him to leave if that's the case. Mark left for a few hours and handed my daughter a check for $1,000. I explained that Coral can't come back if there is no punishment. My husband's ex-wife is saying that I'm banning her from our home because she didn't deserve that bigger space and that we were treating Coral unfairly. But I said she did, that there was nothing unfair about the situation. The ex just hung up. Now my husband's ex-in-laws are bombarding him with phone calls saying he's a horrible dad. His sister even said he's being a bad parent, and they're best friends, so it's really getting to him. This happened last night and he hasn't gotten up yet. Should I apologize? Update 1. I found out the complete story and there is a lot of drama. It's over a boy. So both my daughters are cheerleaders and it's a Valentine's Day dance coming up. All of Coral's friends are cheerleaders and they all date football players except her. So for the past month, her friends have been trying to hook her up with Brad, but it turns out he is interested in Leah. After all the games, Brad talked with Leah. So Coral came up with a rumor that Leah plays Roblox. It's not really a rumor, but Brad found out. So after school a few days before the incident, Coral tells Brad how childish Leah is for still playing Roblox. And Brad says he doesn't think it's childish. Turns out him and his friends play and then invited Leah to join them. Then yesterday after school, in the hallway, Brad had his friends recorded this big proposal to the dance that included flowers and chocolate, and Leah accepted. Apparently, Coral was crying at cheerleading practice, and Leah went up to ask what's wrong and if she needs anything. Coral and her friends started cursing Leah out, so Leah just backed off. Then this morning, Coral posted on Facebook about how Leah is the favorite child and that she was kicked out of her decorated bedroom in order for Leah to have it. Her mom Dre had also posted something similar. Koi didn't want this to ruin Leah's reputation, so he posted everything about their lies. He also posted a picture of the shattered case and explained how everything Coral said was a lie and how Leah was nice enough to give up her bedroom. Dre also called us some horrible names. Then Koi responded that the reason the custody is no longer 50-50 is because Dre's husband hates kids. Apparently, Coral didn't know this, but Dre sent my husband a text saying he knows how her husband feels about the kids being here, so he needs to make up with her and let her come home. Mark then screenshot this and sent it to Coral. She came home and went straight to her room. She skipped practice. Leah is on her way, so when she gets home, we'll have a family meeting. Update 2. So we had a long talk. Coral came down and apologized to Leah, and she was jealous about Brad. She also apologized to me for lying to her aunt. She believed that Leah got everything she asked for, so I had her explain, and the only thing she said was Brad. As I was about to explain, Mark stepped in and told her that wasn't everything. Mark then explained everything Coral got, which included a room makeover which Leah had to pay for on her own, a brand new laptop after Leah had to pay for her entire computer setup. He then asked, is this really about a guy that she doesn't have anything in common with? Coral then told us how popular he was and that because Leah is a nerd they don't mesh. Other than cheerleading, Leah is in Quiz Bowl and a robot making club. Leah explained now that football was over, Brad was also in those clubs and so are his friends who the other cheerleaders date. Coral then began crying again because after the Facebook post, her friends explained that their boyfriends don't want to be involved with a liar and advised them to stop hanging with her, so they didn't sit with her at lunch today. Mark calmly told her that was her own doing. She broke down and said, I know. Mark then held her in his arms and apologized about sending her the screenshot and explained that I wasn't the bad guy. She then explained that Dree told her that I forced Mark to get full custody so that we all could be one big happy family. So that, along with the Brad situation, made her lash out. She then ran to hug me, saying how sorry she was, and looked to Leah and apologized once again. I brought up family therapy and everyone agreed. Coral took the post down already and apologized to Leah publicly. I know things are looking up, but without friends and this situation with her mom, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Final update. So things did not get better. We went to one therapy session as a family and it went great, and the girls started hanging out again. Coral got her friends back and everything seemed normal. However, when the girls went to the dance, it wasn't good. Brad and Leah were dancing and Coral became jealous again looking at them. So she told her friends her plan was to pour juice on Leah. Coral believed that her friends had her back because apparently they all laughed and agreed to help her. Leah had on a blush dress so the drink would have easily been visible. The plan was for Leah to leave so Coral could dance with Brad. But as the group made their way over to Leah, one of the girls pushed the cup up so it spilled back on Coral. The girl said oops and her friends began laughing at her. She ran out crying and called her dad to pick her up. Later that night, the girls had told Coral that she was just being mean and vindictive at this point, so they were tired of her behavior, then removed her from the group chat. They added Leah to the group, and she told me everything when she got back. At school, Coral tried to apologize to her friends, but they ignored her, so she left school. We spent the whole day looking for her and found her at her aunt's. She was truthful with her aunt and she explained that her behavior is what caused her to lose her friends. We were there at the point and complained everyone was against her. Later that night, Coral tried to take her life. We found her in time, so now she's spending time at the hospital. I really don't know where to go from here. My house has been peaceful, and I feel bad that I feel good about that. But I hope the Coral gets the help she needs. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.